Hey guys, it's Renee and welcome to another episode right here on Rev Evolution. And today we are maxing you out in terms of size and luxury as well with the world's very first electric premium MPV. We're talking about the Maxus MIFA 9 from Cycle & Garage. Well folks, it's time to give you a bit more information before we dive into the rest of the review. Things like the exterior and interior and also the in-car review. The MIFA 9 was built from the ground up instead of converting it from a van. And it hosts a lot of really impressive features, which we will be finding out right here on Rev. In terms of passenger comfort in the MIFA 9, first of all, for the rear section, it has two captain seats which come with the massage functions. Really excellent for those long journeys. And with the panoramic sunroof, you're really sitting in the lap of luxury in the MIFA 9. Right folks, and welcome to the segment we call the reverse car review. Okay, that's where we jump into the car and give you more information about things like handling, features, and so on. And if you're wondering, Renee, where is the reverse car review? Well, as in our previous review, of course, as you know, Rev is now strictly doing EVs, no more internal combustion engines. We feel that we've actually modified our review or giving you more information based on the fact that this is an EV, all right? So things like your handling, your range, and your battery, and so on. All right, so here we go. First thing, of course, is how much does the Maxus MIFA 9 costs to drive here in Singapore? And to drive it in Singapore, it costs $285,000, 999. Okay, and that is, of course, there's some rebates that you get under the VS A1 banding, which is 25,000. So if you factor that into it, it's actually quite reasonable for a 7-seater MPV. And in terms of road tax, it costs $1,791. All right, so that being said, and now you know how much the car costs, we are going to dive into the first part of the review, which is the features. Okay, and this car is very long, 5.3 meters and 5.3 meters long and 3 meters wide, 2 meters wide. So that gives you an idea about just how big this car is. And in terms for you as a driver or in a passenger, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that it really gives you so much space in terms of comfort, spaciousness. It seats 7 so comfortably, and it gives you tons of luggage space, which I think you've actually seen in the earlier part of the review. Okay, so that being said, now let's talk about 2 more features which we feel is very important for you as a driver, especially this being an EV. How much and how long does it take to charge the car, and of course, what is the range? Well, if you do a fast charge, which I mean, for me, that's the only thing for me. I only do fast charging. Based on a 120 kilowatt charging station, this car goes from 20% to 80% in under 25 minutes. So all you need to do is park it at a charging station, go grab a cup of coffee or grab a bite. Before you know, when you come back, the car is fully charged. Okay, and if you do it at the slower charging stations, your 50s and so on, of course, it's going to take a bit longer. So it's how fast you want to get your car charged. Okay. And in terms of car range, pretty impressive numbers from Cycle & Garage. 435 kilometers on a full charge. I've actually drained the battery down to as low as possible. I've done a full charge of it, and I've actually been driving around Singapore, carrying some people along with me as well, putting it into different modes just to see how much range I can get out of this car. And I've come pretty close to what Cycle & Garage has, which as I mentioned, this being a very big MPV, I'm very impressed with the numbers, which means that this car can also take you up north. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the internal features of the car itself, which I think, once again, is important for you as a driver. What Maxus has done, they've kept the information very simple, which is honestly what I love in terms of the display. They've really done a very minimalistic look, giving you just two screens. One, of course, is the driver instrument panel, and it is 7 inches, and it gives you all that information which you need, which I think is very important. Things like your speed, of course, the distance. If you put it in different modes, it shows you there your lane assist and so on and so forth. But most importantly, it tells you how much of battery charge you have left, and of course range, which I said, to me, I feel is really more important than anything else, since this is an EV. Okay, so to get it very simple. And in terms of the driver control panel, the instrument panel, once again, if you scroll to the earlier part of the video, you can actually see that I've given you all the information that you need in terms of what the car actually provides you, which is a whole lot of features, which I'll be jumping into in just a bit as well. Alright, so now I've got that out of the way. Let's talk about handling. As I mentioned, this is a very big MPV, so you're probably worried about, hey, is it easy to drive? Is it easy to park and so on? Okay, well, in terms of handling, because what the MIFA 9 has, which is different drive modes from your power, your manual and eco, it affords you different settings of the car in terms of how the steering handles, how your throttle responds, and so on and so forth. And to me, driving this car, I feel is as if I'm driving a normal saloon car. It's really that easy to drive. The only difference is the fact that because of its size, you have to get used in terms of how to park it, and of course, you know, how to make U-turns. Okay, because that is one of my main problems that I had, making U-turns, because this car is so huge. It actually had to do a bit of a reverse and actually do a U-turn. Okay, so that's the only thing about it. In terms of other things like road noise and so on, really, let me just keep quiet for a second and let you hear how quiet the car is. Yes, it puts people to sleep, honestly. Next thing that I'm going to talk about, which I think is very important for me, is the safety, the amount of safety that is available in the car itself. First of all, something that I think most cars nowadays have is the automatic or adjustable regenerative braking. And that's what I really love about it, because with a lot of EVs that you drive, and I think I've said it in my earlier review as well, when it comes to regenerative braking, the minute you step off the pedal, the whole car starts to give you the whole jarring experience. What with the MIFA 9, you can actually control the amount of regenerative braking you want from your different modes. Again, you can watch that in the earlier part of the video. The other features that you have in the car itself is, which once again is something that you can get in most cars as well, which is the adaptive cruise control, set into different into the speed that you want, and of course the distance between yourself and the next car, and the car will drive by itself. I mean, not autonomously, of course, but it allows you to take your foot off the pedal and just let the car drive according to the speed that you set it into. And the other very important safety feature is the autonomous braking, emergency braking, which I think is very important for in case of emergencies, or a pedestrian runs across the road, or a cyclist comes in your way, or somebody has an emergency brake in front of you. So that the collision braking system, I think, is really an excellent feature that is available in this car. Now, of course, they have things like their rear cross traffic alert, and that is what happens. So that really works in the sense that when you're reversing the car, if just in case somebody once again pops in the back of your car, the car will actually alert you and let you know that there's somebody in your rear, so you won't collide into them. And other features, things like your blind spot monitoring. If anybody comes into your blind spot, it actually alerts you. And the beautiful thing about it, and I feel very useful because this is a huge car, is the 360 panoramic camera. All right, so and that feature, of course, is it gives you the 360 view of everything around you. And if you're doing cornering, a really useful feature is the fact that the cameras actually come on as well, so it shows you that you're staying away from the curbs, and especially good when you're parking. And last but not least, the other feature which I feel is very useful is the lane assist, and it comes with this very loud warning the minute you get you try to go into the lane. If you're daydreaming or something, and if you happen to go to the lane, it comes with a loud warning, and it nudges you quite gently into the lane. And I think that is really beautiful, because, as I mentioned, other cars give you this really nasty experience if you happen to go out of the lane, and that just doesn't happen with the MIFA 9. Okay, and I think I've just about covered as much information as we feel is really more important for this being an EV in terms that you really want to know, and I think I've given you as much information as I can. And the other miscellaneous info which I feel isn't so important but you may want to know about the car itself is the fact that it comes with an air purifier, so it cleans the air in the cars. You know, if you leave your car parked for too long, you get all that musty smell. Well, with the inbuilt air purifier, it actually cleans out all those nasty smells. And in terms of the number of colors that the car is available in, you can actually get it in 6 different variations of colors, and the one that we have, I love it. It makes the car actually look bigger. All right, so that's as much information I'm going to give you about the Maxus MIFA 9, all right, right here on Rev. And now let's jump on to our summary.
Right, folks, and now time to wrap up our drive experience with the MIFA 9. And I think it being an electric vehicle, 2 very important factors for you as a motorist you'll be concerned about, which is the driving range and, of course, how long it takes to charge this MPV. And I've covered that in the earlier part of the video. And on top of that, this being a luxury MPV with all those impressive measurements which this MIFA affords you, it gives you all that space and comfort. And with Singapore as well, with the COE prices, I think it is one of the best deals you can get in terms of an electric MPV. This wraps up another electrifying episode right here on Rev Evolution's motoring segment. Don't forget to leave us your comments about what you think about the MIFA 9 and like the video as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Till we catch you again, this is Rene, signing off.